Hello there, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Hope you are all having a wonderful, fabulous day. So today we're going to be talking about Misrule by Heather Walter. If you remember my review of Malice, absolutely freaking loved that book. Loved it 100%. I thought it was so well written, and as a sequel, this one was just as good. It's funny, I read it a little while ago. I'm so backlogged on all my reviews, you have no idea. But I read it a little while ago, and I was sitting down at my desk and I was struggling to type my review. I think I probably started and deleted the first paragraph 3 times because I was just, as I was thinking of it, I was just like, oh my god, I love that, which is the opposite of how I was feeling with another book I just reviewed. I just started thinking like how much I loved this book. I thought it was so well written, and it was really hard for me to kind of unpack why. So thank God for my podcast and my YouTube channel, because I try to keep my written ones a little bit more professional, a little bit more concise, because you're reading those. Whereas here, yeah, you might want to, you can just jump and skip and just listen to whatever. But it's okay. I mean, I just absolutely loved this book. I thought it was so well written. I thought it was just executed so well. And this book takes place pretty much a few months after the events of Malice. Alice is still trying to wake up Aurora, who has been put under a sleeping curse, because no one's like, no, you can't have a relationship with the dark grace. No, not allowed. So basically they were trying to separate them. And then someone enters her life. She's at the Kingdom of Briar. She went whole dragon mode and pretty much decimated everything. But now, she's there, and she's just trying to wake up Aurora. And in comes another Vila. Now, if you remember the Vila, that's what Alice is. They were a race that the Fae and humans sought to just exterminate. I mean, they wanted to just commit mass genocide because of the Fae's prejudices against the Vila. Because, there's a lot of history. Vila, she was the first Vila was a Fae, and then she was twisted by demons. It's just no. She made a deal with the demons. Why? So that she could access more of her power, and she does. So that's where a lot of it comes from. The Vila are, in fact, more powerful than the Fae in some respects, and that was threatening to them, but they couldn't just go and attack them. So they made a pact with humans, one queen especially, the Briar Queen, and lo and behold, they were pretty much, their land was destroyed, the Vila were scattered, enslaved by the Fae. I mean, and any one of them that were found, like Alice, they were pretty much put to death early on. But Alice herself was different. She was kept alive. Mind you, she was abused mentally, physically, emotionally. She was bullied her entire life just because her blood was green instead of gold like all the other graces. They literally called her the dark grace. I mean, people treated her very poorly. And enter her life Avila, someone just like her. She finds a kinship. And then a century passes. She is queen now of this new Briar, this new home, this new haven to the Vila. And I think what was really interesting with the storytelling, you got to see the Vila as a court And what I thought was really cool about this, like, these are supposed to be the bad guys, you know, according to the Fae and the humans from book 1. I mean, these are supposed to be the bad guys, right? Because they're dark, you know. No. I loved the juxtaposition of the Fae, who, you know, glowing gold blood, you know, we live in the light, blah, 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 right? I love the juxtaposition that the Veela are incredibly open-minded. They are thoughtful. They are considerate. I mean, a perfect example is when Aurora does wake up and her royal court meets her. Not only are they meeting a human who they have been at war with for years, but they are meeting the Briar princess. You know, the girl who is descendant of the Briar Queen, who did in fact betray the Veela. And yet, it takes some time, but they don't just off with her head. They don't torment her. They don't abuse her. They're just like, all right, we'll give you a shot. Prove to us that you're not like other humans who pretty much hunt us to extinction. Right? Or hunted us to extinction, because the whole Veela court, it's blown up. They're just like, yay, we can live in freedom now. Woo, we can be ourselves. It's great. It's wonderful. And Aurora does, because Aurora was always a very open-minded. I mean, she was really Alice's only friend. She respected her. She was considerate. She was thoughtful. And she does prove to be different to the others. Mind you, there is some tension and apprehension between her and Alice because, I mean, again, a lot has happened in their relationship. I mean, I'll talk about it in a minute because I do want to talk about it. But I just loved that juxtaposition of, you have this race of Veela, basically dark fae, and they are so much better than the humans and the fae. I mean, they are open-minded, they are considerate, they're thoughtful, you know, they listen. They, of course, retaliate, and yeah, they are at war with the humans and the fae, but you have to remember, these are two races that were trying to exterminate them, that have, in fact, still have some of their race enslaved. So really, it's not just, you know, war, revenge, it's also about freeing their people from the clutches of their enemy. You know, people that have, their enemy that has been tormenting them and enslaving them for centuries. So it's a lot, and I do love that world building. I really thought it was thoughtful. I thought it was considerate. I thought it was so well done, honestly. You get to see this Veela kingdom. You get to see Alice, who she has become because of these people, right? How confident and assured of herself she is. And I really thought that was really, really well done. Now, as for the characterization, I also thought that was really well done. Alice has changed. She has evolved. She has grown. But you know what? She still has that anger, that untapped rage from being bullied. You know, not just bully. I mean, they tormented her. They made her feel less than, like she was just a thing. You know, they were horrible to her. So she still has all that unpacked rage. And you definitely see it in her actions. She does let that rage take over occasionally. Now, with Aurora, right? I said earlier, there's some tension between her and Aurora, right? You understand the tension because in a blink of an eye, Aurora went from her world to 100 years later, everyone she knows and everyone she loved is dead. This is a completely new world for her. She has no idea how to adapt. She's confused. She's angry. And I think part of the problem, and that's why I like the relationship, because it's not just, oh yeah, happy dancing, right? It's real. It feels real, the relationship between her and Alice, because Alice just wants things to be like, oh no, like nothing happened. Like everything's the way it needs to be. Everything's perfect. It's the way it's supposed to be, you know? And she's not really listening or paying that much attention to Aurora. And it's just like, hey, listen to me, please. Like, are you not, it's like you're not even giving this is where it's like you're not even giving my feelings consideration. That's how the relationship is, you know? Alice just wants to pretend like nothing's happened, like nothing's changed. And Aurora's like, no, things have changed quite drastically. But, you know, Alice doesn't really want to see it. And it's not like all the Viva love Aurora. So all the negative feelings she feels, you know, it is creating tension between the two characters. There's that lack of communication. But when they do start communicating, you get to see what made their romance and what made their relationship so special. Because yes, it's a lot of push and it's a lot of pull. It's a lot of tension. But the key to any successful relationship is communication. And I like that Walter kind of like hones in on that for their relationship, because it does make it more realistic. It does make it more relatable. It does make you want to root for them as a couple. You want to root for their relationship to blossom and to flourish. And that's because, well, they're great. But that relationship is realistic, you know? Not everything's perfect. But they find their way through it all to each other. And yes, Alice does figure out, she's like, you know what? I need to work on me. Because again, she has all that untapped rage. She has all that anger that she's trying to resolve so that she can heal herself. And it's not till she realizes like she has to heal herself first. It's like, I want to be good for you, but I have to be good for me first. And I like that, you know, I like that character development. I think it's really rich. I think it's perfect for this story. And I think it's a perfect way for Alice as a character to kind of evolve, because she hasn't dealt with, not really, like she hasn't dealt with everything she's been through. It's just like, let's push down those feelings and just release them when it suits me. You have to deal with that eventually. Like, you have to deal with the feelings. You have to, on some level, overcome all that negativity in order to be in a happy and healthy relationship. And I think that that's really kind of wonderful for her to see this character struggle with that herself. Because I think a lot of us as readers, we do have that struggle. So, especially when we're young, you know. So it's not something to connect us to Alice as a character. And it's another reason why the relationship she has with Aurora is so wonderful, because it's so realistic, you know, in that aspect. And you know, the rest of the cast, I mean, they're pretty amazing too. Like her whole Vila core, they're pretty awesome, especially the one who calls her on her shit, and her best friend. I mean, you get to see how separate they are, but how similar they are at the same time. I mean, they're kind of great. Her whole core is amazing. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this book 5 out of 5 stars. When I finished reading this, I was like a 4, and now I'm just like, nope, you're gonna get a 5. You're a good book. I fucking love you. So, it's gonna get 5 out of 5 stars. If you want to purchase the book, please remember to purchase from your local bookstore or online book retailer. I just ask that you purchase from a bookseller versus Amazon. And on that note, I hope you all will continue to support me here by liking this video, subscribing to my channel, and sharing it with all your book loving friends. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.